Look, I don't even know if today is a real day or not. Like, I feel like it's Groundhog Day. You know how they say the groundhog come out if you see a shadow, you know, it's gonna be winter, it's gonna be spring, whatever they be saying. Today, as a Houston Rockets fan, feels a lot like Groundhog Day. Um, Actually, it was yesterday when Cam got traded. I was doing a show, and actually, we was talking about should the Rockets trade Cam Whitmore. Actually, that's been a very hot button topic in the Rocket sphere. No sooner than I got off the stream and like literally ended the stream because I'm not going through stats and checking the news the whole time I'm on stream. Actually, I ended up getting off, and I probably would have done some of that if I would have stayed on. But those of you who listened yesterday, realized I said I was going to be back, and I wasn't able to come back. I did come back, but something urgent popped up. Now, that being said, no sooner than I got off the stream, boom, my screen immediately cut to the news of Cam Whitmore being traded. And I immediately wanted to get back on and come back and tell you guys about my overall feelings about the trade, about the departure of one of our most high potential prospects, and what I think about Raphael Stone. So, I'm just going to get straight into it. I don't at all think that, well, first of all, let's say this. You can't cry over spilled milk. And, you know, everybody got a cousin that don't know how to say the sayings right. And one of my cousins would say, you can't cry over spoiled milk. Am I saying that Cam Whitmore was spoiled milk? No, not really. Not really spoiled milk. But definitely spilt milk. Definitely was in the cup, waiting on the cookies, and you just spilt it. That little bit didn't get to go, with your cookies and milk that you had planned for the snack. Um, like I said before, I've been highly impressed by the potential. Not even just the potential. Not, we could talk about potential all day. I'm talking about what we saw. This isn't even a potential thing. This is what actually happened on the floor when we saw Cam Whitmore play basketball. You know, and it was all exciting. Every minute was get the ball to Cam, and when he shot it, sometimes you would say, why he didn't pass it, but you want a guy that can shoot the ball however many times he want to shoot the ball and score however much he want to score. I really would have liked to see Jordan Poole and Cam Whitmore on the same team. Can you imagine Jordan Poole before the, what are we calling it? Whatever. Before the Draymond incident, could you imagine a young Jordan Poole with Cam Whitmore on the same team? Obviously, that's not what you're getting. You're getting a defected, maybe slightly humiliated, maybe ego out of control Jordan Poole, but he's not there. But you do have a pick in Alex Sarr, who was the first, second overall pick, whatever he was. Very underwhelming in his early, early play. But Cam Whitmore would have the opportunity to go be a max player in Washington. The Rockets did him a solid. I think Raphael Stone did him a solid.
And we can look at it at face value. I mean, I felt like the helium was all out of the room. I had to do that. I do feel like Raphael Stone did Cam Whitmore um, a good favor by sending him somewhere where he can actually. You want to play? You want to be a star? You feel like you can carry a team by yourself? You feel like you that boy? You Anthony Edwards? You Jalen Green? You can go on a team and be a star player? You have a chance. You have the opportunity to go to Washington and be Bradley Beal, what Bradley Beal was to Washington, what John Wall was to Washington, what Gilbert Arenas was to Washington, what Jordan Poole was supposed to be to Washington, what Anthony Edwards is to Minnesota. You have the opportunity to go be that. They put him in a great position. I'm not gonna say it's the best position. The best position would be somewhere with somebody who needs his skill. That you know, the best position would have been somewhere like Miami or Indiana. You know, somebody who need him, but they have a good team, and all they need is a score to come in and be that young phenom. That would have been a greater position. But they gave him the opportunity to go build a team around you if you feel like you're that boy. That being said, um, how do I feel about the trade overall? Well, I got some things. I got some things that I feel like are important and some things that I feel like are probably slightly overlooked in the trade. Overlooked by who, you might ask? Well, initially me, you know, out the gate, I overlooked it. I was saying to myself, why would the Rockets throw Cam Whitmore in a trade for Dorian Finney-Smith just to cut $3-4 million off our, you know, off of our salary? It would have been um, hard pressed against the luxury tax and apron trading. That gives us a little flexibility and allows us to have a little bit of wiggle room to do other things and not have to worry about those taxes. And there's so many stipulations that go on with those taxes that once you start to get in those aprons, it prohibits you from doing making certain moves. And this is not the I'm going to go into that right now. But the picks themselves. So for those of you who don't know, the Rockets have reportedly traded Cam Whitmore. This is what I've been talking about the whole time. And what they got was two picks and Mojave King, who is most likely going to be waived. I don't see Mojave King playing, not even in summer league. If he makes it to summer league, you know, that would be a miracle. If he do, more power to him. 195 pounds, 6'5", you know, he can do some stuff. Very underwhelming. Nothing that a professional basketball player shouldn't be able to do, but very underwhelming. And I mean, for the most part, Mojave King is an NPC. Um, the exchange for two second round picks is better than just throwing them in. You understand what I'm saying? It's much better on the right hand sider than my left hand sided her. If you just throwing in Cam Whitmore to get Dorian Finney Smith, and your whole objective is just to cut some of that cap, why not go ahead and trade him for the picks and cut the cap? Trade him to a team that got plenty of salary, cap room. You take that player off their team that you're gonna waive or whatever the case may be, you know, and you if you leave him in the G League or whatever the case, whatever you're gonna do, don't matter. And get those picks because ultimately we saw 5 picks be worth Cam Whitmore. We saw Phoenix say, hey, you know what? We'll take 5 second-round picks instead of Cam Whitmore. Why is that important? Because Cam Whitmore was sitting right on the team. And if Cam Whitmore was that valuable to any of these teams, like we were saying, with the Lakers trade Dalton Connect for Cam Whitmore, where the Lakers was going to trade Dalton Connect for a very good center in my mind. Unhealthy, but very good. And I don't see the Lakers looking at Cam Whitmore or anybody looking at Cam Whitmore and saying, hey, that's the guy we need to make our team right. A lot of guys are probably saying, hey, I would like to try him out. But like I said on the last stream, once the Rockets decide that they have to get rid of him, what that's telling you is, for lack of better words, spoiled milk. It's not a team in the world that's gonna look at Cam Whitmore and say he's not skilled. You're gonna look right at him and be like, okay, I'm about that. I'm about that. I'm about that type of play. You know, athletic, boom, bam, shooter, shot, bop, bop. But why do the Rockets want to get rid? Why do the Rockets want to get rid of him? What is it that they are? What is it that they don't feel the need to hold on to him? Like, if you were just saying skill on skill, you can't say that his upside offensively don't look as good as Armin's upside defensively. Both equally athletic. Armin very well can be one of the best defensive players in the league. If Cam was playing and was, getting those minutes, he could very well be one of the best offensive players in the league. The upside, skill wise matches. But what's the difference? One guy's a leader, one guy's very coachable, one guy gets better every single time you see him on the court. I mean, do I have to be in the gym? Do I have to be in the locker room? Do I have to be at practice to say that every time you see Amin, he gets better? Every time you see Cam, he's the exact same? No. So I was riding the other day. I seen Stevie Wonder. He said, man, I just saw Cam Whitmore play. He looked the exact same as he did last time. He's not getting better. He's not getting better. Not that he won't get better, but what did he do that was better than, you know? I mean, it's just one of those things. So 2 second-round picks, what were those picks be valuable for? Well, obviously you got the 3.5 million that he was making. Now that's clear. And you got two that allows you to make a move. And you got 2 picks to throw in if you choose to make any kind of move um, in the future, right? Well, tell you a story. On my stream yesterday, I was saying to myself, I say, well, actually, I was talking to somebody in the chat, and I was saying the media guys will not mention, no way in hell is it possible that the entire media, nobody would talk about Giannis going to Houston, right? And I'm saying to myself, gotta be a conspiracy. It's a conspiracy. I went to the kitchen. I got me some aluminum, not adamantium, aluminum. That's when you sophisticated. You use you got to use your British terminology. I went and got me some aluminum. It made me a nice hat, a sombrero, if you will. And I put on my conspiracy theory tinfoil hatter. And I said, the best place for Giannis to go is obviously the Houston Rockets. Why would he want to go anywhere else right now other than Houston? You could say, hey, Dallas would be nice, but they have AD. AD doesn't want to play center. AD wants to play power forward. They have Kyrie. Kyrie is hurt. You just got through leaving Damian Lillard, who's a great point guard, that is hurt. Why would you want to go do the exact same thing again? And all in all, I kept saying, you could go to San Antonio, which would be awesome to go play with Victor. Victor Wembanyama is a small forward, power forward, definitely not playing center. And you talk about two players that need the basketball in their hand. Like, I don't know if anybody need the basketball in their hands more than Giannis and Victor Wembanyama on the same. Like, how do they match? I mean, I guess it's kind of equal to Kevin Durant because Victor Wembanyama ain't nothing but a taller version of Kevin Durant, if you will. And I ultimately said it would be insane for the media not to even mention. And I said how they was kicking dirt over on top of the Giannis trade from the time people realized that Houston was going to make the first big move. Everybody changed the tone about the importance and the urgency of Giannis Antetokounmpo to leave the Milwaukee Bucks. And it went from, oh yeah, Giannis has to leave. I think Giannis could definitely ask for a trade out. Oh yeah, he could ask for a trade out. Giannis is open to playing in other places. Giannis is thinking about playing in other places. He wants to go somewhere where he can win a championship. And that was the narrative for almost a month. And right before the offseason started, and the Rockets became the most aggressive team, the most attractive team in city, the narrative suddenly changed to, well, Giannis hasn't said, well, it's July, and Giannis hasn't said anything about wanting to move and leave Milwaukee. And to me, that seemed to me like media-driven narrative to cover up Giannis being traded until the Houston Rockets stack their team up with whoever they need and, give away their leverage and their flexibility. And then they would reopen up the Giannis trade talks from now until he leaves, whether it's trade deadline or 3 years from now. They're going to be talking about Giannis getting traded twice a month, twice a month on every channel. Somebody's going to talk about Giannis. Every time you see basketball being talked about, you're going to hear in some shape, form, or fashion something about Giannis being traded until he leaves. How do we know? Because we went through this with Dame Lillard. Like Dame just left last year before last. But they talked about it for like 6 years straight about Dame leaving until he eventually just was like, you know what, y'all right. Thank you. Thank you for setting this up for me because I showed my loyalty. I showed that I wanted to be there. And by y'all telling me to leave for this whole time, now my team know that I could have been left a long time ago and I stayed. And now they'll work with me to try to get me somewhere that's good and blah, 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 blah. And Dame comes out smelling like a rose. And this is kind of what they're doing with Giannis right now. They're setting it up to where he don't look like the bad guy if he asks out. But, he shouldn't be thought of the bad guy for asking out anyway. But my point is, after I went on and I went on and I said, you know, about the trade thing, I kept saying that it would be crazy for the media to go on and never mention Giannis in talks about the Houston Rockets as a trade target. I got off and found out that somebody had just spoken about, well, maybe a couple of hours later, I saw that prominent media personality um, did indeed say that Houston Rockets could be a trade target. I was gonna pull it up, but I don't know if they're gonna flag it, so I'm just gonna leave it be. Mind you, shout out to that media personality for saying it. Not that he said it first, but I think he's one of the first media people to go ahead and jump out there and just go ahead and say it. You know, just jump out there and go ahead and say it. Put a stamp on it. I would say put an address on it. Don't just keep saying he can go somewhere. Put an address on where the best place for him to go is. It's insane to think that Houston isn't the best place for him to go. And so we can with more being moved, those draft picks being brought into us, and them possibly being very valuable draft picks. That allows us, possibility to make another trade if we feel like we need to make that other trade. And like I say, I'm for it. I'm for it in any capacity. In any capacity, as long as, for me personally, as long as you're not giving up Armin and LP, okay, okay. Will I give up Jabbar or Giannis, LeBron, anybody? Yes, I would. And I like Jabari, man, but you can't act like Jabari is more valuable than Jalen, man. I mean, all these guys who act like Jabari is more valuable than Jalen Green, stop it. Stop it, bro. You got to be on it, man. You own it. Work, work. Um, and if you're able to give up, I mean, obviously, they will want Barry and Reed Shepard. At this point, if you was going after a Giannis, they would want Jabari and Reed Shepard or Jabari and Fred VanVleet. I mean, I don't even know if we could even pull it off, but I mean, they would definitely want some iteration of Jabari, Reed Shepard, and Fred VanVleet. They might would want LP, but I think if Jabari was on the table, they probably would take Jabari as well. Jabari and LP, that would hurt. To me, that would hurt because now it's no way, it's no way that if you get Giannis and you give up Jabari and LP, you have just stripped your team of all the youth in their building. Like you literally have a team with Reed Shepard and Armin Thompson on your team. And Tari Eason. That's literally, which is, don't get me wrong, 1, 2, 3. You know, 1, 2, 3, and then you got KD and Giannis, Clint Capella and Steven Adams. That's still a good team, you know. But once those older guys, once KD leaves, then and Clint Capella leaves, now you're just stuck with, Giannis there for about 5 more years or whatever. he's eventually going to get to the age to where you're not going to be able to sign somebody. Reed Shepard and Amin Thompson contracts, Tari contract coming up. You know, so I just think that's kind of it's thinkable. It's doable. Hey, look, I'm gonna go ahead and just for the sake of doing it, I'm gonna let y'all check out our boy, man. Let's check out the boy, man. Let's check out the boy. And while we check out the boy, I'm gonna put this on underneath because I don't know how they feel about his highlights. They might be sensitive about his highlights in real life. Be sensitive. Oh no. Get the sound. Get the sound. Am I getting sound over here? I'm on the mic. Bro. Joint. That's it. I'll turn that mug up. Yeah, we're not going that high with it. I just want to get a little music underneath that in case they want to flex. If they want to flex, I got diamonds in my tooth. You know what I mean? I'm in my zone. I'm trying to get back in my zone, man. It's real out here in these streets, these H-Town streets, man. Can you dig it? my hobby King. Hey, what's so funny about it? Is when 2K come out, it'll be people playing with Mojave King and he'll be balling. He'll be balling like he that boy. Like I wonder, like he number 15, like number 15 on the roster right now or something. And that mean he'll actually legitimately be on the game. Somebody have Mojave King going for 20, 25. Let me see it. Let me see that happen and see how I act, how I respond. Y'all ain't never gonna see me respond like this before. But those are your Mojave King highlights, man. Tell me what you think about Mojave. What do you think about Mojave? If you made it this far in the stream, please like and subscribe. It don't take nothing to do that. It's free. For the free, you can hit the like button for the free. And I'm gonna keep bringing you these exclusive Mojave King highlights. Hey, I like his name, bro. I like saying his name. I wish he'd be on the team just so I can say Mojave King a bunch of times. My hobby, what's my hobby? Being an NPC. My hobby, the NPC King, man. He's doing it big out here in these world, in these streets, man. Watch your boy Mojave get buckets. Oh, Mojave get buckets. Oh shoot! Look at your boy back door. Moving on that back door, looking like a young Rip Hamilton. Mojave King running on the wing. The ball, look, 2 hand above the rim. Took him like 2 minutes to jump to the rim. Oh, baby Danny Green shot looking at. Your boy Mojave King on the baseline with the 2 hand jam. Oh, baby crossover. Oh, in and out. Sham guard. Half of a sham guard to the layup. Listen, Bobby King is out there, man. Oh, look, two hands again. Not another two-hand dunk by Mojave. Let's see, another two-hand dunk by Mojave. Oh, my days. He got little hands on, little hops. Which one is it? 6'5", 195. Mojave King is the king of the two-hand slam. Dang, another two-handed dunk by Mojave. If he dunked with two hands one more time on his highlight tape, bro, come on, this is your highlight tapes. Listen, y'all don't at me, man, talking about Mojave need to play, bro. This boy has had the most two-hand dunks of anybody I have ever seen on the highlight tape, bro. Another two-hand dunk, bro. 6'5", another two-hand dunk. Not one of those dunks was a bounce off the bounce and just go. Look, none of this is just go hard, just lift up and Timmy, bro, nobody or none of that. This ain't none of that, bro. I'm not tripping with him though. If he make it, if he do good in the league, more power to him. He got some, what you call it? He got some traits that could be serviceable. He's 6'5", 195. That's never bad. That's never bad. I could never imagine, bro. I don't know, bro. I don't know. 8 points a game. Horrible from three. I mean, flat out horrible from three. He was shooting like Matumbo stats from three, bro. As a guard, he's shooting Matumbo stats from three-pointer. He got that Ahmed Thompson in the G League 24%. Come on, man. You in the G League and you shoot 24%. And you play guard? Yo. 5 rebounds a game. 1.2 assists a game. 0.4 steals a game. 0.3 blocks a game. Mojave King is the Rockets' newest NPC. Now, all bullshit aside, I hope he do well. I hope he make it to the summer league. I hope he show out in the summer league and earn himself a spot, make himself a name, and does something that I don't think is really going to happen, which is not get waived. Because from my perspective, he is a waived man. 100%. Now, this stream is pretty much going to be, just a send off to Cam Whitmore, because I want to delve back into more about what does this mean for the Rockets going forward. As far as rotation, Pastor Elder Pastor. No, it wasn't Elder. It was Hoss. Hoss was asking the question like a million times, bro. Like a million times. Who's going to be your scorer off the bench? Who is your scorer off the bench? Which is crazy, seeing as though how he wasn't our scorer off the bench last year. there was times where we did use him as a spark plug when we felt like he could be trusted to be out there and not mess up the flow of the offense. But for the most part, our scorer off the bench was Aaron Holiday, or Tari Easton's defense, Armin Thompson, Jabari Smith Jr. coming off the bench, doing work. And Cam wasn't our main scorer off the bench. He might have been our most talented scorer off the bench. But as far as who averaged the most off our bench, it was Jabari Smith Jr. Who played for us, that when they came off the bench, they changed the tempo of the game the most. It was probably Aaron Holiday. And who is the guy that comes off the bench that when he comes off of the bench, you know exactly what to expect every single time? That's Jay Sean Tate. And all those guys are there. All those guys are there. They ain't going nowhere. I'm gonna miss that shot, man. I'm gonna miss that shot. I hope he hit us for like 40. I hope Cam score 40 on us. On KD. Now, I hope they put him at shooting guard. I hope they put Cam at shooting guard in real life. Don't put him at no 3, man. He's too short to really play the 3. He need to be a shooting guard. Well, he don't really got no bag. He don't need no bag. Couple of dribbles and 235. Red alert, yeah. Got the dirt on my soul, no grandstanding. Strong in the air. Straight through your arm. Get your arm out the way, or I'll break your arm. In the air. Up top, not a game. Hey, no, but with the rotations, I think gonna be a little bit cleaner, even with Cam. Like that right there play, he couldn't have made that pass to Jabari. Jabari was moving, trying to let you see me. Look, bam, look. He had to go ahead and get over there. He could have made that pass, but Jabari was moving. Let me see if I can go back to that play. Which one was it? And Jabari was trying to flash into the open so you could see him, and you just couldn't make the pass. I mean, I think he just couldn't make the pass. I mean, he didn't have to. Obviously, he scored the bucket, and it was a 2. Sheesh, interesting. Bad pass by Armin. Cam saved Armin tail. Boom. Mojave King dunked him. He straight Mojave King that boy. He Mojave King down there, man. We don't see how if the rotation. Look, this the play right here. Is this the play? Let's see. Look at the pass. Look at the pass right there. Boom, in the corner. Throw that ball in that corner and let Jabari hit that 3. Throw that ball in that corner for Jabari to take that long 2 in the corner. Like, you better stack. It's one of the things that I think kept him from being his best, man. I don't know how far back I went, but let's see, not there. Okay, it's after this. After he Mojave King on him. On Landry Shaman. Oh, no, it's Kyle Anderson. Landry Shaman, Kyle Anderson, and Derek White, all triplets. They triplets out there. Like the Curry brothers. Look, this one right here. This it. Yeah, he drive, he kick it back out. Oh, he could have took the three. He closed that. Boom, in the corner. Get past that. And look at that. Well, guess what? It's our problem. Like we usually say that's not our problem. It's our problem now. How long do you think Cam Whitmore will be a player in this league? Do you think Cam Whitmore will have a long career? Do you think his career will extend past 6 years? Do you think Cam Whitmore will go on to have the kind of career that we thought he would have, trying to muscle his way into our rotation? Pun intended. I don't know. I don't know if Cam is gonna have. Let me tell you what would. If Cam Whitmore is in the league 7 years from now, playing at the level that we thought he should play at, which is just what, 25, 5, 25, 5 and 3. You know? Something around the area. Because if you really look at it, you don't expect him to be Anthony Edwards in real life. You don't expect him to be a 30-point a game scorer, you know. But you know who was really athletic at a young age and still is? DeMar DeRozan. And obviously he's been in the league, he's been around the league for a long time. But DeMar DeRozan was never a 28, 29 point a game scorer, I don't think. Quote me if I'm wrong. But he was an effective player for his whole career. If Cam Whitmore is scoring 25 points, 23 points consistently over 7 years, me, myself, personally, I would think he had a good career. Also, if Cam Whitmore is ever an all-star, I would think he made the right decision by leaving. If Cam Whitmore obviously if he ever, gets above 25 points a game as a career season average, we made a mistake. Period. If he averages 27 a game, say over 2 year span, 26 a game over a 2 year span, 27 a game, 26, 27, 2 years in a row, 3 years in a row, we made a mistake. And it will remind me of how I felt about the old Toronto Raptors with Vince Carter and Tracy McGrady and, that type of thing. Where you look back and you say, damn, if T-Mac and Vince would have stayed on the team together, that would have been crazy. I mean, I guess there's no point in, reminiscing about the past as far as, what could have been and this, that, and the third. So for me, it's just good to think about the fact that now that the roster's clear, well, the good part is now that the roster's clear, we know we have a better idea, a more structured idea of what's going to be going into the lineup, who's going to be playing what role. The thing that we don't know is, if anything happens, that we don't have that feeling, that void feeling that we had when Cam was there. We always had Cam as an insurance policy, like a comfort blanket or whatever you call it, little Linus blanket. Like when Jalen plays bad, put Cam in the game, man. Put Cam in the game. We not scoring. We always had that, man. Put Cam in the game. Put Cam in the game. So going into this year, it's like if KD doesn't do well, we had that. Well, Cam will get to play now. Cam will get to play more. But now since it's he gone, we don't really have a insurance policy. We don't have a backup plan. And look at LP. LP crazy over there. LP crazy over there. Look at Alpha Shango. Oh, I gotta see it again. LP crazy, bro. Look. LP crazy, bro. Yeah. So that insurance policy, that plan that we had, that comfort blanket, the feeling that at the end of the day, he could have dumped it out to Jeff Green right there. He had an easy pass to Jeff Green that I would have liked him. See, that's the thing that I won't miss about nobody. Like, what is it that stops you from being able to make that pass to Jeff Green? Yeah, you don't have to. And hey, look, you doing that against let me see, those Dennis Schroeder and them. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of times you don't realize the Cam is playing against backup players a lot of times. So if he's going in there on 3-4 guys, a lot of times those guys are not starters, bro. Look at these guys trailing the floor. Them not your starters trailing the floor like that. Look at that. Look at that dude. Lost. I almost kicked him in his chin. And you saying, look, this is Jeff Green out there on the floor. Jeff Green on the floor. Why is Jeff Green on the floor? Great pass. That's the stuff that I like right there. That behind the back pass. When Cam do that behind the back pass, that's what stands out to me about his game. I thought that was underrated when people say Cam couldn't pass. Not that he can't pass. I don't think it was that he can't pass. I think that what people always say, he just put his head down and just go. Because that's a great alley. Talked yesterday about how Fred VanVleet only threw 3 alleys in the past 2 years or something. The last 3 years or something crazy. Fred VanVleet is averaging like an alley a year. And Cam Whitmore is averaging like maybe 1 or 2 a year. And he don't even play. But they have him at 17 minutes a game, which is crazy to say Cam Whitmore plays 17 minutes a game. There's no way he plays 17 minutes a game, bro. That's cap. If he played 17 minutes a game, he was per 36. That means he was averaging at least 15 points a game, and I don't think he averaged that. Well, do you think Jabari is going to score 15 points a game this season? 15, 16, 14, 13. What do you think this leaves Jabari as a scoring option? Does his points go up? If he's starting, he got to be able to get in there and get it in. He got to be able to do some glass work or something. But if he's starting, then Jabari is really, I would expect that his points go down if he starts. If he comes off the bench, then I expect Jabari to, average 15 points a game. That's what your six man off the bench is supposed to average like 15 points a game, bro. That's what we used to in Houston. That's what I would expect from Jabari Smith Jr. Nothing more, nothing less. If he starts, I'm thinking about it because you got LP and then you got KD, And if you really want to be honest, that's, Alperen averaging 22, 23 points a game and KD averaging 26, 25, 26 a game. You expect Armin to average what? At least 17? You expect Armin to average at least 17 points a game? Fred Blam Bleep. What is he going to average this year? What is Blam Bleep averaging? Jack Londale smoking hookah. What is Blam Bleep average going to be this year? 9, 10 points. 9, 10 assists. Can Fred get probably not 9, 10? I mean, to be honest, is Fred going to get you 8 assists a game this year? Does 8 assists a game work for you, for Fred VanVleet? Because it's not like KD's going to be catching and shooting. It's not like LP's going to be catching and shooting. It's not like Armin is going to catch and shoot. Fred is out there with guys who are not catch and shoot players. So if Fred just come down and set the table, he pop your napkins, he pop your little silverware roll out there. You know what I mean? He get everything, get your little glass and everything is all tucked there nice, and it's not an assist. If Fred is averaging what do you think? 5 assists a game? 5-to-1 ratio? 1 turnover a game? Hey, if Fred average 9, 5, and 1, 1 rebound, 1 assist. 1 rebound, 1 turnover, 5 assists, and 9 points. Is that good for you this year? That's 9 points, 5 assists, 1 rebound, 1 turnover, 1 steal. Is that good for you this year for Fred VanVleet? Those numbers could very well be what he averaged, bro. Okay, let's do this. That's Fred. 9, 5, 1 and 1. 1 turnover. I'm not expecting nobody to have no bunch of turnovers on the team. To be honest, I don't think nobody. The only person I would think would have unusual turnover, because Dylan the only person that I would think would have, unusual turnovers would be somebody like LP. Because LP at his best is when he trying shit. When he trying to get shit off, when he trying to get stuff off. He trying to finesse the defense, he trying to entertain, Are you not entertained? He trying to do everything. And that's when he at his best. He playing like the gladiator. He putting on a show for you. You know, deaky behind the back pass and all that. Coast to coast. Hizzy cross dribble. Not even a crossover. It's just Hizzy cross his body dribble. Big Ginobili. When he turned into Big Ginobili. That's just what it is. And I don't mind if LP has 3 turnovers a game. If he's averaging 3 turnovers a game, I ain't tripping, bro. Cam, get yourself in the dunk contest. Be an all-star. Get in the dunk contest. Be an all-star. I'm going to be a Cam Whitmore fan. I might be on the Rockets and the Washington Wizards this year. The West team and the East team. Cam get the boys to the playoff. What if Cam get the Wizards to the playoffs? That'd be crazy work. Look. So Jabari. Now let's go from the bottom. Armin. How many points Armin will have? How many points you think Armin? Let's look at how many you have. Just do it like this. I'm gonna do it like this, baby. I'm gonna do it like that, sugar. Let's see. You know what I mean? Nah. You know what I like? Nah. Let's see. We ain't talking about nobody. We Okay. Armin. Is this his season average? Yeah, this is season average. Now, mind you, I give you his playoff stats in a minute. Played 69 games last year. And 14 points a game, 8 rebounds, 3 assists, 55.7 field goal percentage, 1.4 steals. This unreadable number at 3-point percentage right now. And I look over here and it look better. I'll tell you what it was. I'm not even going to tell you what his 3-point percentage was right now. That boy shooting them Mojave King numbers. Okay, listen. Here go his stats in the playoff. Armin Thompson. 11, 7, and 4 with a steal and a block. That was the first game at the Warriors. 17, 9, 2 assists, 58% field goal shooting. Oh, mind you, that was 31% field goal shooting in that first game. Here he shot 58% field goal shooting. 1 steal, no blocks. And there's a trend that I'm going to tell you about in a minute. In 34 minutes of play, he had 25 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, 66% field goal shooting, and 100% from 3, 5 steals, 3 blocks. This was a crazy game for Almond. This is one of those Almond clinics. Not like the 17 rebound game. Because Almond is very much like Magic. Like, he'll go out and do crazy stuff just to get the win. But the next game was in 35 minutes, 14 points, 7 rebounds, 2 assists, 38.5% from field goal, 0 from 3, 3 steals, 0 blocks. Okay. 37.2 minutes. 24 points, 9 rebounds, 3 assists, 56%, 1 steal, 1 block. Now here's the trend that I noticed. When Almond plays at his best, he is pretty much a double-double. He's pretty much right at 9 rebounds when he is playing his best games. And what you notice is that when he's feeling it, and I don't know if it's a point in the game where he just feels like he has to take over, but when his light goes green, everything works. Is this a real life noise that my phone makes? When his green light is on, he ultimately, everything he does works. It's not just gonna be scoring. When he gets going, it's the scoring, it's the steals, it's the blocks, it's the rebounds. Sometimes it's high number assists, sometimes it's mid assists. I haven't seen Almond have like that real Magic Johnson assist type game. It's mainly because I don't think Almond is a good ball handler as we thought that he would be. Not that I don't think he'll get there. I think he'll get there. I actually think he's going to develop his ball handling every game until he gets to a point to where, he can actually be a legitimate point guard if he needs to be. And you don't need to do all the fancy, but you need to be able to really manipulate the defense with your body and your angles. And you need to be able to not pass a man open. That's football. But you need to be able to adjust your body to where the defense has to shift and open up a passing lane for you. For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, you can look a guy off with your eyes and slightly turn your shoulders, and it can freeze your man into a position to where you can make a pass. And that's what he's going to have to do to be a better point guard, because he's moving so fast that the guy is attracted to him and the ball. And a lot of times they're just getting back to try to get in front of him or try to, hack at the ball, hack at his arm. And it's not really allowing for people to get open like he could. I think once he develops that, quarterback type mentality, Um, once he gets into that mindset to where, he's using all the tricks, all the tricks of the trade to try to get guys open and learning how to do those type of things, he's going to be a much better player. But as of right now, I mean, he's on his way to being a. If he just plays, if he grows at the level he's growing at, and does what he's done over, the last couple, let's say the last 10 games he played. If he does that, not only is he an all-star, he could very well be working himself up into being one of the best Houston Rockets ever. He'll definitely be one of the most remembered Houston Rockets ever. Okay, so where do we think he'll be? Points, rebounds, assists, and let's do steals and blocks instead of turnovers for Armin. We'll do turnovers too. So I think maybe as far as points, rebounds, let's see. If let's say he was 14, right? What did I do with the screen though, Brody? I just lost the screen. Let me go back. Let me find the screen real quick. Okay. I think Armin is probably going to average. I'm always going to say you're going up. I'm always going to say you're going to go up. From last year, when you this age, you this talented, you playing with Ime, you playing with Kevin Durant. So obviously, Kevin Durant is getting 6-7 more points than Jalen Green, but he's also getting doubled way more, and he's a way better passer and a way smarter player. And I think he's going to want Armin to be great. He's going to want to be a participant in the maturation process of a great player like Armin Thompson. So I think Kevin is going to look to get Armin great shots at the basket. And he's going to look to help Armin become a better shooter. So let's say I like Armin at 17 points a game, but if Armin went from 14 to 21 points, I wouldn't be surprised. If Armin was a 21 point per game scorer, based off of offensive rebounds, shooting the mid-range better, being better at dribbling the ball and attacking the rim without turning the ball over, and he made it to above 17, I wouldn't be surprised. But I'm gonna put him at 17 for now. I'm gonna put Armin at 17 points a game. And that's just because we got KD. Also, I'm going to put Armin at a legit 10 rebounds a game. I'm gonna say Almond averages 17 and 10 this year. And if he averages 17 and 10 as a shooting guard, Amen Thompson could very well be an all-star. Mind you, that's at 17 and 10. If Ahmed averages 20 points and 9 rebounds as a shooting guard, he's an all-star. No way in hell you're going to tell me if a shooting guard averages 9 rebounds a game, he's not an all-star. But let me keep it going. Ahmed Thompson will average 3 assists a game. A solid 3 assists a game. A solid 3. Which means there'll be games that he because I'm saying 17 and 10, I don't want to give him 4 assists a game because that's pushing it really. Actually, if I was saying 20 and 10, 4 would be pushing it crazy. 17, 10, and 5 would be crazy. That would be insane. 17, 10, and 5 would be insane. 20, 10, and 5 would be fucking Hall of Fame basketball. I mean, if I'm an average 20, 10, and 5 right now, that's Hall of Fame level basketball. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave Hammond at 17 points a game, but I am going to keep him at 10 rebounds a game and 3 assists a game. And that's because I don't think because LP likes to put the ball on the ground and KD likes to put the ball on the ground a little bit too. I don't think when Almond is going to the goal, I think he's going to be able to get to where he wants to get to. And I think when he sets up the offense, it's also going to be pass the ball to a guy who still might be getting a couple of pats on the rock before they shoot it. So I'm going to keep his assist at 3. Here's the big one. Over 50% from field goal range, But here's the big one. Amen Thompson will average over 2 steals a game. Now listen to what I'm telling you. Amen Thompson will average at least, I'm going to go to 1.5 blocks a game. Almost 2 blocks a game. Listen, I know it's guys that go crazy in the league. It's guys that go crazy nuts in the league. I know Shai Gilgeous-Alexander had a crazy year. Here's my takeaway. Give me 1 second. Um, 17, 10, 3 with 2 steals and 2 blocks. It's good. That could very well be an all-star year. I don't think he'll get it because there's going to be, you got Jalen Green and Devin Booker, both in the West. You got De'Aaron Fox. You got Steph Curry. You got a lot of guards. You have a lot of guards, and that's going to keep in Luka Doncic. Luka Doncic. I like Luka. I like Luka. I like hookers. I like hookers, and I like Luka Doncic. Luka Doncic is the best European player you ever saw. He's the best European. Luka Doncic. Don't mind my Trump, man. Don't mind my Trump impersonation. I'm working on it. My late night career on Jimmy Kimmel. Listen. I don't. All I'm saying is, man, if Amen Thompson was to just go above the stats that I just told you, this would be an incredibly crazy year for Amen Thompson. If he goes actually 20-10-5, do you realize what that is? Do you realize what 20 and 10 rebounds is for what? Do you realize what 20 and 10 is? It would be insane. 20 and 10 is almost like if you average 20 and 10 as a big man, as a center, power forward, that almost puts you in the All-Star game. If you're the leader of your team and you actually average 20 and 10 as a big man, that's kind of crazy. That's almost what Al P averaged this year, was a little over 20, like 22 and 10 or 22 and 9 or something. Not nothing crazy. Not nothing crazy. Sheesh. Listen. $17, 10, and 4. Let's do 17, 10, and 4. $17, 10, and 4 with 2 steals and 2 blocks a game. And if Amen averages 20, 10, 5, 2, and 2 this year, I would say that's almost MVP type shit. That's almost MVP type stuff right there. Over 36 minutes a game, and he's a starter this year. Listen, if he's a starter and he averages 20, 10, 5, 2, and 2. Let me do this. I'm just gonna check. I just got to see for myself under my own volition. And yes, I'm trying to find out right now. I mean, I'm looking it up right now. And listen, no guard has ever averaged 20, 10, 5, 2, and 2. No guard has ever averaged for a season 20, 10, 5, 2, and 2. If you made it this far in the video and you want to clip this and use it for a short, feel free to do so. No guard, no shooting guard, no guard has ever averaged 20 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 blocks, and 2 steals in one season. And it's the block, two blocks and 2 steals is what makes it above the level of other players. Obviously, Russell Westbrook averaged the 2.4 steals. 37. Hold on. No. Average 37.4 points a game, 11 rebounds, 10.8 assists per game, 2.4 steals. Russell Westbrook is a maniac. Michael Jordan in the playoffs, 30 points, 6 to 7 rebounds, 5 or 6 assists, 2 blocks, and 2 steals. That's his 90 to 93 run. That's where he was at, but that's 6 or 7 rebounds, 5 or 6 assists, and that's in the playoffs. That's not even in the season. So it actually says in 1967-68, a guard managed 18.9, 12.4, 3.7 assists, 2.8 blocks. You know, that's 3.7 assists. That's not even 5. And they don't have the steals. So, I mean, it's crazy to think if Amen Thompson was to average 20 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 blocks, and 2 steals, he could really be looking at an MVP type season. Why do I say MVP? Because it would be a season that nobody has ever done. It would be like the first time Russell Westbrook got a triple-double. And nobody had ever done it since Oscar Robertson. And they had to give him the MVP. If your point guard averages 20, 10, 5, 2, and 2, 2 blocks and 2 steals, well, first of all, he would have to get the DPOY. If he averages 2 blocks and 2 steals a game, he has to get the DPOY. as a guard, as a shooting guard, has to get the DPOY. No way you can skip it. Okay, who's next? Who's next? Bari. Let's do KD. Okay, Kevin Durant. Cheese and rice. Want to do career average or? Yeah, let's do career regular season, which I think we should just do last season. Yeah, let's just do last season. 26, 6, 4. Pointing kind on the steals, and 1.2 blocks. Obviously shot 50, 40, 83.9. He didn't shoot 90% last year. And they say 50, 40, 90. But here his stats is 50, 39, 88. So that's not quite 50, 40, 90. You know, a little slight glaze on that thing. Put a little slight glaze on Kevin Durant's name to hype him up. You know, if you say 50, 40, 90 enough, then it makes him a better buy than if you say, you know, 83. But 43 from 3-point last season. That ain't nothing to sneeze at, bro. 27 points per game, 26.6. I'll take that 27. You know, almost 2, you know, 1.2 blocks. You know, to me, that's like 2. You can't have a point block. So you gonna round that up. You're gonna round it down. I'm gonna round it up. Because if you got, you know, a French fry and you got 0.2 of another French fry, you gotta put your hand to your mouth 2 times. So that's how I do it. You know what I mean? You gotta put your hand up there twice. You don't get the rest of your hand after you eat the first French fry because you still got a 0.2 of another French fry that you gotta do something with. You know, put it up to your mouth or swipe it off the table or whatever it is you gotta do. So it's 2 to me. Damn what school said about rounding down. Okay. Let's do his stats. Same. He's gonna get 5 rebounds just off being 11 feet tall. Just because he 11 feet tall, he gonna get 5, 6 rebounds. So I'm gonna do, instead of 27 and 6, I'm gonna do 25 and 5. I'm gonna do 25 and 5 because he got LP, and LP gonna carry some weight for him. 25, 5, 5. I'm gonna give him an extra assist though. So 25, 5, and 5, and a block a game. I don't even think he needs the 0.2 on there. Not to be effective for us. You don't need to get 2 blocks a game to be effective for us. You need to, you know, be on the floor. So I'm actually gonna take Kevin Durant down in his stats. That's what I'll do. Now, let's do Jabari here at the 4. I know. Going slow. Look, because it's Sunday. You ain't got no job. You ain't got nothing to do. Um, 12 and 7. 1 assist a game. point blocks, point steals, 35.4 from three. I'm going to say Jabari stays at like 13, 14 points a game. I don't think Jabari is going up. Because when he's in the game as a starter, he only needs to score very minimal. Now, when he comes in the game as a backup, he might need to score that little 9 or 10 points. So in his starter minutes, he might get an open three here again, or he might get a putback here again. I don't think they're going to be calling Jabari sets, when KD and Armin and LP all on the floor together. It's going to be Armin downhill, LP downhill, KD, KD and Jabari spacing. Jabari is basically going to be the spacer on this team, the lone ranger, out in space, pigs in space. 7 rebounds a game. I'll bump that up to 8. Let's say 13 and 8. And I say his assists go up to 3. I say Jabari's assists going to go up to 3. Because if he's kicking out the ball, if he's getting rebounds and he has to kick it out, somebody's going to make those shots now. And if he's catching the ball and they're closing out on him, he's going to be able to pass the ball to somebody who can make a shot. So I think Jabari is going to go up. Also, I think his 3-point percentage, will go up. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7. Over the last 7 games, which is obviously the playoffs, he shot 45.5% from 3. He had one game where he shot 5 and made 1. He had one game where he shot 3 and made 1. But other than that, 2 for 3, 1 for 2, 1 for 1, 3 for 5, 1 for 3. He actually shot the laces off the ball in the playoffs from 3. And that's a lot of the same position he's going to be in this year. It's going to be guys doubling, tripling the other 3 guys on the floor. So him and Fred VanVleet are going to have open looks at the rim. They're going to have open looks at the hoop. It's going to be basically like looking at looking at a car in your rearview mirror. It's just going to be, it's there. It's just right there. I just look right at it. There's nothing in between me and it. I just can see it. It's right there. You right there. You on my bumper. What I'm going to do, look right at you. And that's how it's going to be with Jabari Smith Jr. Ultimately, just getting open shots all season long. So I think his 3-point percentage will go up, but I don't think he'll have as many shots at the basket as he had last year. And KD said that, when he has the ball and they go to shoot, he go to shoot, and the team collapse on him, and he kick it out to the 3-point line, he expecting them to take the 3, not to run in and take a mid-range. So what I do expect is Jabari to take that 3. If Kevin Durant kicked the ball out to him, I hope he watched the video, and I hope he takes that 3, unless he's going to get all the way to the rim, or he can, drive in and throw the alley to Armin, or he can get the ball back to LP, without a shot clock running up. I think this is going to be a efficient and high percentage year for Jabari, more than it is a, better numbers for Jabari Smith Jr. Now, last but not least, let's do Alperen Sengun. What the sneezy? Okay, let's do Alperen Sengun. Over the last 7 games, he averaged 21 points, 12 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, 0.4 blocks. And I'm going to say the 0.4 on that one because, them 2 blocks that he got was valuable blocks. So, we'll just over slide down and see what maybe we can get a little look at his 3-point percentage over here. And over that playoff series, he shot 38% from 3. He shot 38% from 3 in the playoffs. If Alperen comes back motivated, and when I say motivated, I mean, last year he came back and he kind of had to work himself into a scoring rhythm because I think that ultimately he had worked on too much or something. Maybe he worked too hard on his defense and he let his offense slack. I think this time, what happens with Alp is that he is going to, I think Alp is going to come back focused on his offense and understand that we have a chance to win the championship this year. And Alp is a warrior. Alperen is an actual goon. They should have just named him Alperen Goon and leave the SEN off of it. This should have been Alperen Goon. Because he is tough as nails. And I mean that, from a mental perspective, as far as drive and determination. So I am going to immediately, I'm going to say that Alperen is going to average at least 23 points a game this year. And 13 rebounds. I'm going to say Alperen is going to average 23, 13, and 6. 23, 13, and 6 is what I think Alperen is going to average this year. "13 rebounds, is that a lot?" Is 13 a lot? Is 13 rebounds too much for Alperen to average? I don't know. But I'm not backing down from that. I'm not going to back down. I'm going to say that 13 rebounds coming out for the year he just had. Hey, look, man. 13 rebounds, bro. That's a lot to ask. With 23, 13, and 6, I'm not going to hold him to 2 steals a game. I doubt he's going to average 2 steals a game. But if he averages a steal and a block a game, and he's giving us 23 points and 13 rebounds, great. Another all-star year for LP. LP should be an all-star for the remainder of his career. Now, with that being said, what did I say for Jabari? Did I say 13 for Jabari? Uh, 26 for KD plus 23. Boom. 26 plus 23. Was that right? 26. And then 23? Okay. With that being said, that is 88 points from our starters in a league where 104 points is safe to say, close to average. Let me see. Let me just check. What the hell? Well, I was horribly wrong. The average points per game in the NBA is 114.2 points a game. So, $88. Well, you got the 24 points got to come from somewhere, right? Something like that. 26 points got to come from somewhere. Are you getting 26 points from Dorian Finney-Smith, Tari Eason, Clint Capella? Where are you getting the 26 points from? Or are you just the team that's going to hold the league below the average all year long? Not only, obviously somebody on the bench is going to have to score. Who is it going to be? Let's be honest. Let's be honest. Nobody on our team is really going to average more than Kevin Durant. So if Kevin Durant is averaging 26 points and Alperen is averaging 23 points, we have to be serious about where do the other 26 points come from. Is Jabari capable of giving us 15 points? Is Armin going to score 20 this year? Is Alpi going to jump up to 25? Is Dorian Finney-Smith, is he actually good for what? Is he the sixth man off the bench? Is Dorian Finney-Smith good for 12 points a game? 10 points a game? Tari Eason, is he good for 10 points a game? If Dorian Finney-Smith scores 8, Tari Eason scores 8, and somewhere between Steven Adams and Clint Capella and Aaron Holiday, whoever our secondary point guard is, they can score 7, 8 points apiece. Maybe. But as of right now, I don't see us being able to keep up with the league scoring average. It's going to be crazy. Tell me what you think. Do you think these Rockets can keep up with the league scoring? We're going to just hold everybody below 114. Even if we hold everybody below 114, you still have to tell me where 12 points on the bench. Where on the bench do you know you can get 12 points? Are you confident that Dorian Finney-Smith and Tari Eason can give you 12 points off the bench? Because if you told me, hey, we needed 12 points off the bench, we got Cam Whitmore, I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that. And I think this is why I'm kind of feeling like Dorian Finney-Smith is going to be starting. Because if Dorian Finney-Smith is starting and all he has to do is, catch and shoot, and he gives you 9 points a game, and then Jabari is coming off the bench, and then you say, well, Jabari is going to have to give me 15 points instead of 12 or 13, but he's coming off the bench. Guess what? That's cool in the game. I'll go with Jabari off the bench to give me more points than I will look at my bench and say, hey, my bench brigade is going to be Dorian Finney-Smith and Tari Eason. I need them to give me 24 points along with Clint Capella or along with Steven Adams. No, sirree, Bob. So, I don't know. It's, tell me what you think. Checking the chat. Checking the chat right now. And the chat is saying absolutely nothing because nobody's in the chat. If you are in the chat or if you hear me talking right now, feel free to chime in and tell me what you think about whether or not you think the Rockets can keep up with the scoring average this year. Bigger topic than a lot of stuff we're talking about. I really wonder what people are thinking about that. Because as I just went through the numbers, I'm looking at, 88 points. It was a time when I did the numbers for the Rockets and I was started 5 like, oh, he gonna score 17, he gonna score 17, he gonna score 20, he gonna score 25. And I was like, oh shoot, we're gonna be good. We're gonna be right around 100 points a game with our starting lineup. The bench can come in, they can give you 10 or 15 points because you could see that they could possibly do that. Like, it was a time where we knew LP was going to give us 22, 23 points a game. It was like no questions asked. LP was going to get you 22, 23 points a game. Jalen was going to come in and get you 23, 24. That's like 50 points right off the bat for 24 points right up, And then you say, well, Jabbar going to score 15. Fred VanVleet, he good for 13. You know what I mean? Dylan Brooks, he good for 12. Like, sheesh. 15, 25, that's 75 right off the bat. Now you're looking around and you're saying, if everybody just do a little bump up points wise from what they did last year, we still only at 88 points. Which I guess that's not bad. Let's just check it out and see. Let's check it out and see. I like to check it out. No. You're not trying to tell me what I want to know. Let me look over here. And this is a good question. What does the average starting lineup average per game? The average per game. The average per game for a starting lineup is 103.6 per game. Last year, we were around 101.3 per game. Yeah. Last year, crazy. And how are they exactly? How are they getting this? How are they getting this? How did we average 103 last year? How did they say we averaged 103 last year? I don't know how they. Why would they imagine that we averaged 103? We hovered around 103. Well, 101. At any rate, the projected PPG for Fred is 15.5. Crazy. Armin Thompson 12. They can flip that. Projected Kevin Durant 25.5. 27. Okay. 26 is cool. Jabari 14, pretty much like I said. Alp 18 should be a little bit higher. At the end of the day, between 84 and 87% points per game combined from the starters. That's without the bench scoring. Okay. Tari Eason, Steven Adams, and Holiday. The Houston Rockets could average 110 to 115 points a game. Okay, yeah, if possibly, I mean, as of right now, our starters are getting outscored by the league. Period. As they like to say, period. There's no way to avoid that. And not that Jalen or Cam was going to help because, but whatever Dylan was scoring must have been something valuable because we just dropped off a cliff now that Dylan and Jalen are gone. And you're saying to me, what you want to tell me is this. You want to tell me that our offense got better when our offensive points per game went down. Talk to me quick, but don't talk to me slick. Oh, we got a closer now. We got a closer. We close what? Close what? You want a person who can score down the stretch when you're down by 10? Or he can score down the stretch though. He can close the game. He can close the game. I mean, you're not going to close the game if you're down by 20. What he going to do is he going to close his eyes on the bench. Close his Gatorade bottle on the bench if you're down by 20. If everybody else starters are scoring 103 and our starters are scoring 88, and let me start the whole stream. I should have started with that. I could have started with that. I mean, keep it a bean. If at any point in time, because obviously I don't think Fred VanVleet is scoring 15 points a game this year. I just don't. Projected at 16 points a game for Fred is crazy work. Bonkers. That's bonkers. Absurdity on the highest level. If Fred scores 16 points a game, yeah, we're a championship team. 100%. If Fred VanVleet scores 16 points a game, we are a championship team, period. That means our offense is so fluid that when Fred gets the ball, it's easy shots for him. And he's making everything. He was scoring 15 points a game last year because he was forced to have to score that to even keep us in games at times. This time he's going to be fourth option. He's going to be the fourth option on the team. Third option, fifth option on the team on the starting lineup. And you think he's going to score 16 points a game? It's absurd. There's no possible way you believe that Fred VanVleet is 16 points a game with this lineup. Now, what I do believe is that if he scores more than 9, if he scores 11 points a game, then we have a solid offense. Because that gets us to 93, 94 points a game. And asking our guys to come in and score 12 points is a lot easier than asking them to come in and score 24 points. I mean, obviously they would have to score more than 12, but you know what I'm talking about. No, you don't. But look, this is the part of the show where, let's see, Johnny Pedorosa, maybe Patty Mills, Reggie Jackson. Patty Mills or Reggie Jackson. What free agent point guard do you want? Maybe CP3. Free agent point guard. What free agent point guard do I want? I mean, Patty Mills would be nice. Patty Mills would be awesome. I'm not even gonna hold you on that. Look. Oh, look. Patty Mills would be awesome. Also, Johnny, if you're still in the chat, you can feel free to hit the link if you want to come up and give any takes that you have. Love to hear from you. That's cool. I'll come pick. Tell me what you think. Do you think we have the firepower to score with the league? Do you think that our starters scoring 88 points a game is enough to keep up with the league average at 103 points a game? What you think about that, Patty? And what you think about that, Johnny? Let's see. I definitely think Patty Mills would be a good pickup. I would say Patty Mills over CP3 definitely. Reggie Jackson, no. No Reggie Jackson for me, buddy. You might well get Bobby Jackson at that age. And I know Reggie can be a spark plug, but I mean, we old and we long in the tooth as it is. I mean, I know Patty Mills is old, but Patty Mills is just a marksman. Patty is a marksman. He's one of those guys that he just can fill it up, and Patty Mills is cool. But Jordan Clarkson, I don't know if Jordan Clarkson is available, but I think I heard somebody speaking about Jordan Clarkson being available. If Jordan Clarkson is available and we get some kind of way, but then again, I don't even know if we, how much room we have to add another piece to the team. So do you like Reggie Jackson? Do you think Reggie Jackson is the guy that you would like to have on the team? Patty Mills or Reggie Jackson? Who would you go with? I don't know. I think ultimately it would be difficult for me to really choose. I mean, CP3 would be wonderful, but I don't know how CP3 and Kevin Durant coexist after, I don't know how they feel about each other. If they played together before, I would assume that they might not need to play together again right now. That would just be my initial thought, because how do you know if you're gonna be better from playing with the same guys that you already played with? I don't know. I definitely, if I had to rate them 1, 2, and 3, Chris Paul, Patty Mills, Reggie Jackson, 1, 2, and 3. For me, I didn't watch Chris Paul play last year, but I would say Patty number 1, CP3 number 2, and then Reggie Jackson number 3. But Patty is almost like a older version of Aaron Holiday. You know, like what's the difference between Patty Mills and Aaron Holiday? Aaron Holiday is a little better defensively, probably a little worse of a shooter, but still a good shooter at this age. So if you have Aaron Holiday, I don't think either one of those guys just become super important, impactful to the team. I mean, if you really want to know what I do, I just hold and run it in that Reed Shepherd, because I think the correct answer for your question is not do I want a free agent point guard at all, but am I forgetting that Reed Shepherd could be a valuable piece to our scoring off the bench? And that's the answer to that is I believe he can. I don't know if he will. Do you think Reed Shepherd can be a valuable piece that puts our bench above that 24, 26 points a game mark? Because ultimately they're going to have to score. The bench is going to have to score 26 points a game in order to be above the league average. And we're going to have to hold the lead, which means that Dorian Finney-Smith and Tari Eason come off the bench. That's 2 good defenders, 1 good shooter, 1 okay shooter. And, Reed Shepherd could very well, Aaron Holiday, you got Aaron Holiday, and who's a good defender and can really shoot, but does he break the mold for you? You know what I mean? Does he really open up what you need to have happen from the aspect of just being a game breaker, force multiplier, if you will. I don't know. It's spooky hours. Spooky hours if we don't get, an actual scoring threat off that bench. Like I said earlier, man, Cam Whitmore was our security blanket. He was literally our security blanket. He was the guy that if we know we needed some buckets and we needed somebody who was just, has the scoring mind frame, like that was the guy that we put in. Like, we need a guy that's gonna get us some shots and get us some buckets. Man, just put Cam in the game. We know what he'll do. We know he'll go get some buckets. And now we don't have that guy. And we want it to be done by committee. But, I don't know. It's gonna be done by chlamydia, man. We ain't gonna be able to score by chlamydia. I'm gonna tell you that right now. They're gonna lock that down. So our bench brigade is gonna have to be in there. They're gonna have to be in there, with meticulous management. Ime's gonna have to be a super game manager to get those bench players in there, in and out. We need that defense in there. Let's get Tari in there and see if we can get him a quick, 5 points real quick. Get you a steal and open 3. Get you in there. Boom, boom, boom. The ball ain't moving like it's supposed to. We got to get Tari out of there. Let's see if we can get Finney-Smith up in there. We get Finney-Smith up in there. Can he get off a couple of shots? Is he hitting? Is he making threes, or is he not scoring? Let's get him out of there. Let's get Aaron Holiday in there. Let's see if Aaron Holiday can get hot and make 2 threes or 3 threes real quick. He ain't hitting it. Let's get him out of there. Okay, somebody got to go score the ball. Somebody got to get above their average. One of our starters got to get above your average. And that's to be the only way we're going to keep up with the league as far as scoring. Yeah, we might be able to lock up. Yeah, our defense might be a top. What do you think the defense is going to be? Defense going to be it was a top 5, top 4 last year. You think the defense is going to go above top 5 this year? Think the defense is going to be top 2? Can we be a better defensive team than the Oklahoma City Thunder? I don't know. I don't know if we can be a better team than the Oklahoma City Thunder this year. It would be good to find out. Now I don't know if I don't know if Reed Shepard is going to grow into his shoes, for lack of better words. But, you know, word on the street is that Amin Thompson scoring more points to be the X factor. I think the X factor could very well be Reed Shepard. Because Reed Shepard, I mean, let's be honest.
Red alert, yeah. Got the dirt on my soul, no grandstanding.
Let's say Reed Shepard played, and let's say Reed Shepard played 12 minutes a game, and he was able to get off 2 threes a quarter. Right? That's 8 threes. How many of 8 threes do you think Reed Shepard makes? Right? 3 or 5. 3 or 5. That's 9 points. He makes 3, he misses 5. Is that a great percentage? No, not a great percentage. But if he misses 5 and he makes 3 and he scores 9 points, that's great for us. Could that mean he shot the ball 2 times per quarter? And he was impact. And he should be looking to do that every game. He should be looking to shoot 2 threes a quarter. And if Reed Shepard shoot 2 threes a quarter every game, and he only had to be on the floor, 3 minutes at a time, bro. 3-4 minutes at a time. Get him on there for 3 or 4 minutes and let him shoot the ball 2 or 3 times from 3. Just jack him. That's what Cam would do. Cam would jack. And I believe if Reed Shepard shoots the ball 2 times a quarter and they all threes, obviously, they're gonna try to run him off the line. They're gonna close out hard, try to get a block, try to run him off the 3-point line. But I don't think you can stop a great shooter from getting the shot off. I just think he has to be intentional and has to be dedicated to shooting the ball. And if he's intentional and dedicated to shooting the ball, and he really wants to get that 3-pointer off, Reed Shepard can give us 9 points a game. Period. He has to be able to do that. I don't even think that's a question.
Got the dirt on my soul, no grandstanding.
What's important? Turnovers? Fluidity? Is it one of those things where Aaron Holiday becomes extra valuable because, you know, he's trusted more by the coach? Or is it one of those things where, you know, you really want to get that guy out there who can be a game breaker, like a Reed Shepard, who might can, you know, really just get hot from three? Which means if he gets hot from three, then, you know, it could be one of those things where Reed or Fred or Aaron, whichever one gets hot, they play. Which could very well be how the center position is ran. It could be, you know, Alprin is the guy. You know, he gonna get his buckets, and whichever one of those other guys are being the most effective against that team, whether it's Clint or Steven Adams, that's who we going to. We need lob threats. Clint Capella could be in the game getting lob threats. He could be on some games, on some nights. He could be the, you know, he could be the thing that they can't stop. The lob threat could be the thing that they can't stop. But who's going to be throwing that lob? Who's the guy that don't mind getting that lob up there? Look at Almond. Almond is insane. Look at that pass by Alfred Şengün. It's so nice, man. It's so nice. It's so nice to see Alfred put that ball on the drop on the dime. He dropped it in the Reggie Bullock. Them locks on his head behind the back pass camp. Hey man, I don't know. I'm looking at it. I can't imagine. I can't see how. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna put the link back down here just in case somebody pop up. And I don't want nobody to say that you know, I didn't give you the opportunity to come up here and speak your mind. You know, feel free. Because whatever Spirit leads you to do, I want you to feel free to do just that. Because this just ain't any talk. This is Rockets talk. All right. So what do we think about Ime's decision to? Do you think that ultimately, here's how I want to pose the question. We know that Cam became not unplayable, but not prioritized because of some reason that has to do with his attitude. How do we know that? Because that's the report. Not that that's why he didn't get played. He didn't get played because of something that he was doing on the court, maybe defensively, or maybe reading the offense. You know, because you don't really see Cam running the offense fluidly. You know. So, but he was able to do that. He was able to get himself open and shoot the ball. Look, he'll go get the ball and shoot the ball. You know. But my thing is, for whatever reason, he wasn't getting the playing time and he became unprioritized. Right? That's a coach's decision. And Stone building this reputation as a GM who works with players to get them to a place that he and they feel like is good for the player. Right? So first, the question is, how do you feel about Ime and his inability to make it work with Cam Whitmore? Is that a mark on him as a coach, as far as, you're a coach? As a coach, part of your job is to develop the talent. That's part of your job. Part of your job is to be able to deal with the personalities. If, for example, if we had Phil Jackson, would Phil Jackson or Greg Popovich be able to deal with the personality and get the most out of this player, or would we have had to let him go? I don't know. It's just a question. If Phil Jackson was brought in to coach Cam Whitmore, if, let's say, Cam Whitmore goes to the Wizards, and for whatever reason, they're able to convince Phil Jackson to go to the Wizards as a coach. We know he's not going to do it, but I'm just saying. Would Phil Jackson be able to get the most out of Cam Whitmore and get him to the level Phil Jackson has been able to get players to play to that level? Would he be able to get Cam to play to the level of the players that he's been able to get to that level? If you think so, is that an indictment on Ime Udoka, that he couldn't get Cam to the level that Cam should be at, that some of us think Cam should be? Is that an indictment on Ime? I don't know. I'm just asking. Are there any coaches that you think would have been able to make it work with Cam Whitmore? I mean, like, we know coaches that wouldn't. We know that, I don't think he would have played for Jeff Van Gundy. He probably could have played for Rudy T. He wouldn't have played for Larry Brown. He probably could have played for Mike Brown. Kuminga didn't play for Steve Kerr, so no Steve Kerr. Miami, do you think in a place like Miami, if he was the star player, if they brought him into Miami, do you think him and Spo could get along and get the most out of Cam Whitmore? I'm just putting it out here, thinking out loud. Is it something that can be looked at as an inefficiency in ineffectiveness from the aspect of what the coach should have been obligated to do as far as developing a talent with as much potential as Cam Whitmore has? What you think? I don't know. Now, if it's not an indictment on Ime, can we at least look at it and say, how good of a deal is it for Stone to have worked with Cam Whitmore to the level of getting him to a place where you can really unload and unleash your talents and on a young rebuilding team, and you can be the integral piece to the rebuilding in this team and develop into whatever you can be? There is absolutely no limitations on what Cam Whitmore would be able to do in the Capitals. They have a great football prospect and franchise as far as what they're developing in the Commanders organization. They drafted Alex Saw. They got decent guard play. They just picked up CJ McCollum. Savvy veteran. I don't know, what kind of teammate he is, but John Lunday, you're almost unalive on the floor as soon as you caught the ball. No, I mean, look. Do you think that Stone has proved how valuable he is as far as working with the player? Is the reputation he's building, is that going to be beneficial to him, or is it going to hurt him down the line? Is that going to be something that's valuable to players in the future to say, hey man, this guy, Cam Whitmore and the coach bumped heads, and the coach tried to be, understanding but he didn't feel like he was getting what he wanted from Cam. Cam didn't feel like he was getting what he wanted from the coach, and the GM steps in and says, well, hey, you want to move? How can I facilitate it? What can I do? I just want to go somewhere where I can play, and I can be the best me I can be. All right. All the shots you want, buddy. Now, is it kind of, did he really want to go to Washington? I don't know. I don't know if he was like, hey man, I want to go somewhere where I can play. Okay. High school team. You'll be the star on this high school team I'm gonna put you on right now. Is that what he wanted? I don't know. Maybe it is. Maybe he did want to go somewhere where it's like, I want to go, put up 40 a night. I want to go put up 40 a night if I can and get my bag, because y'all making me lose money. I could be trying to hit him for a big contract my rookie season, my rookie contract over. I could be trying to get my $3 million and give me a max contract after next year, after next year, before years 5 years. I could be trying to give me an extension and turn my 3-5 into a Jalen Green. Give me a 20, 30 mil. You know what I mean? So Ime was very, I think he was very patient with Cam, but also Ime is very stern, and he's a stickler. He's a stickler, I guess, in a sense. He's a stickler in a sense, and maybe that his attitude and Cam's attitude just don't mesh, but Stone made it possible for Cam to go out and get his money. And if he's only in the league for, 7, 8 years, what if his athleticism start to go away? And, he become a shooter. He just become a shooter because he's not going to be a 3 and D player because the D part. So at this point he'll become a shooter. He'll be like who would Cam be like if the athleticism was a little less than what it is? Like, what kind of player could you see Cam being? Almost like a DeMar DeRozan or somebody, right? Somebody that's still athletic, that can still get buckets, but not really known for the defense, and something like that, maybe. I don't know. Because he has a different kind of body. Like 235 is crazy. 235 is crazy for 6'5", 6'6", or whatever he is. And to have that kind of athleticism, you know, quick release of the shot, man. I can't believe the skill this guy actually had. So I think, look, you can tell me what you think. If you made it this far into the show, I'm not gonna hold y'all much longer. Actually, I'm not gonna give y'all too much more about this. I'm really just gearing up for the summer league because God please. For one, I don't think the free agency is over. I think the Rockets could make a move. It could be another guard. It could be another point guard. You know. But I think they are prioritizing Reed Shepard. So I do think they're gonna wait and see how he performs in the summer league to see if he carries over the things that he did, you know, at the end of the year and in the G League over into the summer league. And if Reed Shepard plays in the summer league like he did in the G League, and at the end of the year, Reed Shepard would be our, you know, third string point guard going forward. And it's up to him to beat out Aaron Holiday at some point. It just is. It's up to him to not let the guy be better than you just because he's a veteran. At some point, bro, you're a number 2 pick, number 3 pick, or whatever it is. You have to be better than the guy who's older than you, and you have to, you know, you have to make it a point to where it's like, yeah, the older guy is more trustworthy and less likely, you know, more reliable. But the difference between impacting the game for this young guy and that old guy is just too much to risk not having him on the floor. All right? And that's what we expect to see from Reed Shepard. And if Reed Shepard is able to do that in the summer league, then we will see Reed Shepard more often throughout the year. Because what do we want? We want Aaron Holiday starting in the preseason or Reed Shepard starting in the preseason. You know, you don't really want Armin playing in the preseason. You definitely don't want Fred playing in the preseason. I would rather roll out Reed Shepard game 1 in the preseason as a starting point guard and just let him play the whole preseason and, you know, whatever. Bring Fred off the bench or whatever, but I know they're going to be trying to get the rotations out and stuff like that. So how is it, you know, I mean, so for me, Reed Shepard being better is the start to our season. Like the season for me starts when Reed Shepard takes his first shot in summer league. And it's going to tell me 50% of what I want to know about this year. Summer league is going to tell me 50% of what I want to know about this basketball year. If Reed Shepard stinks up the summer league, I'm going to be about as excited as I am right now. when the season starts. It's gonna be like, hi, I'm happy. That's how I'm gonna feel. Now, if Reed Shepard come out and he go crazy, I'm gonna be ecstatic. Let's go, Reed Shepard. Get the year jumping off. Let's get the year popping off. Gonna be going crazy. And that's what we want to see. Now, I think that's just about everything. I think that's just about everything that I was thinking about bringing to this stream. Do I have more stuff to talk about? Absolutely. Abso-effing-lutely. Do I want to bring it all on? No, because it's a story for a different day. I mean, to be totally honest, I could actually sit on here and go for another 2 hours. I could actually go for another 2 hours. Because I haven't at all got into what I actually think the Rockets are going to do. And I got into some things that I would like to see them do, and some things that I think they should be considering, and some things I think, should be considered from several parties, including LeBron, including Giannis. They should definitely be considering if not, they want to play for the Houston Rockets. And can they get to the Houston and get their taxes down? No, it's no state income tax for the big chippers, money chippers. No, I mean, listen. But what I'm not going to do is, I'm not going to get into all of what I think the Rockets are going to do today. I just want to set this up to where everybody understands that going into the Summer League, I am going to have, hey, listen, maybe pregame, maybe the day after Summer League, maybe the day after the game. Because, a lot of the OGs, they on directly after the game. And obviously, when McDonald's does this, decides it's going to open a store, McDonald's always does enough research to know if I open a store right here on this corner, and they do I think it's $10 million worth of research. I think that's the right number. $1 million or $10 million worth of research, something like that. $1 million or $10 million worth of research to find out if they open a store, will they still be able to make their money regardless of when Jack in the Box comes and open a store right next to them, because they know it's going to happen. Why is that important? Because the radio station that I listen to that plays the game. When you're driving from work. The radio station. I'm not going to plug them right now. Shout out to them. They do a great job. And after the game, they have number that people can call into and talk about the game. And the OGs in the space, all of them don't do that. But the OGs in the space that do allow you to call in and talk about the game, they both do a great job at allowing people to call in and talk about the game. And everybody is able to call into some kind of platform and get their takes off if that's what they want to do. That's what they have time for. If that's what they want to do and that's who they want to talk to. And I like to call in and chop it up with some of the guys after the game. Just keep it up. Sometimes I just like to call in and chop it up with the people who've been chopping it up with me. So I don't know if I'm going to be on after the game. I doubt I'm going to be on after the game, to be honest. I'm probably going to be on before the games. I'm probably going to jump on before the games, chop it up for the pre-games, and then kick my feet up, chop it up with my daddy during the game. And then after the game, I'll be calling and chopping it up with the chop shop or calling and chopping it up with Greenleaf. You know what I mean? Depending on how my vibes is. And then what I'll do is I'll bring out my takes and elaborate on the points that I made before and after and during the game the next day. Because sometimes you take stuff away from the game and then you go on and you talk and you don't really get out everything that you want to say, because obviously, everybody got the initial reaction and you don't really marinate and process the whole overall perspective of what you saw or what you feel or what you think about it. And it might just be something like, why the hell Uncle Jeff important to the team? You know what I'm saying? Why we got to have Uncle Jeff if we needed a veteran? Couldn't that veteran have been somebody, better? Couldn't we have had a veteran that, I don't know. Whatever the case may be. I don't really have a take about that. But I'm saying you could have something that you want to say at that time, like a Udonis Haslem. Anyway, you can have something that you want to say at that time that you might see in that game that might be the point you make, and that might become the talking point that you decide to say something about, and it might just be stuck on that for a little while, and you might not never really get to the full expanse of everything that you saw or thought about, whatever. Whoo, sheesh. No matter how many times I look at that, that's crazy. But so that'll be important to bring those during the summer league events. And what am I seeing? And who do I like? Who do I don't like? Which NPC I think could actually get some playing time this year? Are they an NPC or are they a playable character? We don't know. I'll be looking at that during the summer league. And summer league will be approaching very soon. I think our first game is on the 11th, if I'm correct. And if everything goes as planned, we could have an excellent summer league. But if everything goes as expected, Reed Shepherd could really catch hell like he did last summer league after people got wind of how he played. At first, people was a little shell-shocked by, just how active he was and, how alert and his IQ and his offensive awareness. And I think he kind of shocked people. And he had Cam out there to help him, but when Cam wasn't there to help him, he didn't play so well. And I think that's going to be a problem this year because ain't no Cam coming to help you, buddy. Oh, it's a Cam coming. Cam Matthews. Cam Matthews and what's his name? Mabe King. That's it. So I'm going to be getting ready to shut down the stream. Getting ready to shut it on down. Get ready to take it on down now. Get ready to take it on down there, boy. Pause. And I appreciate you, Johnny DeRosa. Appreciate that. Appreciate you chiming in. Appreciate your comments. Appreciate the question. Feel free to hit the link and come up and talk to me anytime. It's okay with me. You don't have to agree, but you do have to feel free to open and express your opinions openly about what you think about the Houston Rockets. And this is a no cap zone. Don't come with the cap. I don't want to hear no cap. Now, as for Draymond always crying. As for anybody who is listening at this point, if you are listening to the stream and you're getting ready to click over because you think it's getting boring, you're probably right. But don't leave before you hit the like button and the subscribe button. I will be bringing you more content throughout the week as we get new information, and especially during the Summer League events. We will be talking about Reed Shepherd. I will be bringing you the most insightful content and evaluations about these players, period. How do I know? There is not one single person in the YouTube sphere that will sit and talk about the Rockets for 3 hours directly straight with no return conversation. I'm the only one that does it. I'm the only one that's doing it. This is a one-of-a-kind stream. Why? Because I would do this even if YouTube wasn't here. I would be sitting here eating a sandwich, talking to myself. That's kind of crazy. Sounds kind of crazy? A little bit. Maybe just a little bit. But that's why we fanatics. Not just any kind of fanatics. Fanatics of the best basketball team in the world. That is the Houston Rockets. I am E.L. Hudden. This is Red Alert Rocket Zone. And I am out. Peace.